A big-time Alabama defensive line target makes a change to his commitment date. What does this mean for the Tide, if anything at all? Let's stick around, talk about it. This is Way Offsides. 3, 2, let's go. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whatever the case may be. Welcome to Way Offsides. That's way with 4 A's. Three's not enough, five's too many, always four, just like in the word Alabama. It seems like summer's over almost in terms of the recruiting stuff. SEC Media Days, the last day is today. I called yesterday the last day because Kalen DeBoer finished up his spot. But in terms of recruiting, we all know that this thing goes on all the way till December. It gets really juicy around the time the season starts. Recruits start flipping, flip season. There is some notable news regarding an Alabama target that we haven't talked about in a while. We'll get to that. But to keep track of all of this stuff, the best way to do that is to subscribe, hit the notification bell. You do those things, you'll always be in the know. We'll bring you everything everybody else is saying, plus what we think, what we're hearing. So it's a great place. Way Offsides is a great place to just get all your information. And maybe you'll laugh along the way. We'll share memories hand in hand. That was probably a little too much. Sorry. Anyway, let's talk about it. So the guy in question here is four-star defensive lineman Elijah Golden out of Virginia. Now, Cotton, we haven't heard that name for a while. Well, you haven't, because he's been highly RPM to Notre Dame for a long time. Let's preface. I always like to preface. You guys know this. It's a way to keep your expectations in check. Some of you are a wily bunch. And if I tell you something that I think, sometimes it gets taken as gospel. And that's not always the case. It's just what I'm saying, what I'm thinking about the situation, my opinion. Okay, it's my observation. It's not a fact. It's just an observation. With Elijah Golden, 6'3", 250-pound defensive lineman out of King George, Virginia, four-star guy, number 19 defensive lineman in the country, number 26 player in the state of Florida. He's coming out of IMG Academy from Virginia, plays at IMG in Florida. Let me take a sip of my coffee. It's early. Alabama hasn't seemed like they've been in the mix here for a while, just because there hasn't been a lot of chatter regarding Golden. But although the RPMs are shooting to Notre Dame, he took that last official visit on June 20th to Notre Dame. Things are different in his recruitment now, in the sense that he originally was going to make his announcement on July 26th, and he has now pushed that back to August 9th. We don't know the reasoning. That's just via Tom Loy over on X from 247. And it's interesting that the change has been made. It could be due to a lot of different factors. It could be because he hasn't made up his mind and needs more time. It could be that maybe there's a deal he wants to see how that's going to pan out. Maybe it could be something having to do with, the event, setting up, having family there, having certain people there. Who knows? But either way, it's interesting because I really feel like this one came down between Alabama and Notre Dame. Virginia Tech is in the mix. At one point, he was kind of trajected towards North Carolina. But his official visit schedule really kind of, to me, narrowed it down between Notre Dame and Alabama, with Notre Dame being the heavy favorite there. Now, the thing is that visit to Bama on the weekend of June 13th, I believe, it definitely was impressionable for Golden. If you go and look at his social medias, he's following Jair Edwards, he's following Freddie Roach, a lot of other Alabama accounts. I think he follows me, actually. So it's tough. It's tough to say. It's tough to predict what's going on here, and I'm not going to. I'll give you my opinion. But again, I don't know what Elijah's going through in this process. He does post on social media. He posted the having to pick between the two buttons meme the other day. So here's the thing, though. Alabama and Alabama fans know this, a big priority in this class has been the defensive line. And, you miss out on a couple of guys, um, really one in particular in Titan Davis. And so where does Alabama make up ground there? Who becomes their next target? Well, I think that maybe Elijah Golden was always the priority target there. Titan Davis would have been a great get, a really good get. But in the sense of defensive line class, Alabama, it's not without now could he bolster that class? 100% he could, without a doubt. But the class isn't bad. You just bring on the commitment of Nolan Wilson, who is, I think, was the guy that Bama really wanted at that position. On top of that, you bring in Kamarion Johnson, who I think is probably one of the most underrated players in this 2026 class. If you go watch Cam Johnson's stuff, it's really impressive. Also, he's just an impressive young man. He's becoming a fan favorite already, and he's not even on campus. He shut down his recruitment. He's recruiting for Bama. He's super active on social media, and that gets folks really excited. You've got J.J. Finch, the last defensive line, or well, he wasn't the last one. Nolan Wilson was, but the 3-star defensive lineman commit out of Indianapolis. That's a really good get for Bama. So they've got some guys that they could potentially bring in one more, I think. And Elijah Golden would be a great addition to this class. Elijah Golden, I think, also could be one of those guys that maybe gets a re-eval in the fall, could potentially get a bump. Maybe not. He's kind of on the line for me. But in terms of him moving his recruitment, typically that's cause for concern if you're the favorite team. If let's say he was favored to Alabama right now, and he moves the commitment date, I feel like it would be a much bigger story being pushed by these big recruiting agencies like On3, 247. Tom Loy's post has gotten a little bit of steam, but really it's only had about 11,000 views. Now, if this was On3 posting this story out, it would be in the 100,000, 200,000s, but that's because it's not a player who is projected to Alabama. So in the sense of what he's going to do, I don't know. I mean, let's just be honest. I don't know. You don't know. He probably doesn't even know yet. Could this be a situation where Alabama's pushing for him really hard, or could it be Virginia Tech or North Carolina? Absolutely, it could be. But with his projections to Notre Dame being as strong as they have been, it's hard to think that not a flip because he's not committed, but it's hard to think that a couple of weeks is going to change that unless he's looking for a better NIL deal and Bama, North Carolina, or somebody's coming to the table with that money, with that promise. Maybe he's waiting. The Auburn fans will love this. Maybe he's waiting until after August 1st. That's a joke. Settle down. But I think in general, Alabama's defensive line class, even without a guy like Elijah Golden, is pretty solid. You've got 2 really good 4-star guys coming in, and then J.J. Finch, I think, is another one of those guys that is going to be he's going to be a star in the making. There's going to be some development there, but in terms of how the staff has evaluated him, I also think he'll be a 4-star before it's all said and done too. So Bama's sitting really good. And then you look at, the linebacker class that they've brought in, some of these guys that could be used as pass rushers to help out that defensive line. You've got Jamari Matthews, straight up edge, obviously the 5-star Xavier Griffin. Let's see who else. Zay Hall comes in, 3-star linebacker. He could be used over there. I don't think he would be, but still, Alabama's sitting really good at that position in terms of their pass rush. And that's something that Alabama fans have been pretty passionate about since last season. Alabama didn't have much of an issue getting pressure on the quarterback. The problem was finishing. We didn't see that bolstered very well in 2024. So Alabama fans, we all know in the SEC, it's the trenches, the defensive line, the offensive line. That's where you start. You can't compete if you don't have dudes on both lines of scrimmage. So we'll see what happens here. Again, I think ultimately my opinion is Elijah Golden still ends up at Notre Dame. I think this is probably I don't know. There's probably some external variable that's leading to this move, this 2-week move. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm sure as we get closer, if there is smoke regarding him, his trajectory changing away from Notre Dame, whether it be to Alabama, Virginia Tech, North Carolina, I'm sure we'll hear about it, and I'm sure we'll know. So we'll be here to bring it all to you. And if you don't want to miss it, it's as easy as just subscribing. Hit the notification bell. You won't miss a daggum thing. We promise. And so really cool stuff coming. You guys know Jay Bake on the show. He's not on the show, but Jay Bake is always in the comment section, hanging out with us in the lives. We've got a really neat partnership. He's got some really cool stuff going on that we're about to jump into with Jay Bake. We also I don't have everything I need to do the actual sponsorship, but we also just want to shout out Pollen right now. Pollen is a social media platform that allows you to kind of post everywhere at the same time. It's pretty great. I'll be bringing you more information in the future regarding Pollen. And man, we're getting really, really close to that August 30th date where we'll all be over in Tallahassee partying it up for the Alabama game. So make sure if you're going to be in Florida, just look for us. We'll be there. We'll have the shirts on. It'll be easy to spot. Just yell, "Hey, Cotton," as loud as you can. Come give me a hug, wring my neck, whatever you want to do. Thank you guys for sticking around. You are always the best. We do this for you because honestly, it's just a lot of fun when you guys engage and interact with us. Thanks for the love that you show on social media. There's a lot of you. Eric is always in the comment section showing love. Red, ton of you. And so we love each and every one of you. As always, say your prayers, read your Bibles, wash your hands, horns down, beat Auburn and LSU and Tennessee too. Roll Tide.